Hello and welcome to Dateline New Haven on WNHH-FM, your home for community radio. I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make the Elm City tick. Well, Chrissy Gardner is going to make Westville and all of New Haven tick on New Year's Eve. Last blast of 2018. So will Robert Masori, one of the great guitarists of New Haven for as long as I've been able to read. And Lizzie Donnies from the Westville Village Renaissance Association, WIVRA, as we call it. They're all in the studio to tell us about it and sing about it.
Is that how we say it, WIVRA?
Yes, definitely how you say it.
I've been saying WIVRA.
That's how you say I've been saying WIVRA for 8 years now.
Oh, is it WIVRA or WIVRA?
I
got
say
the official
WIVRA.
Oh, you do say WIVRA.
Travis Carbonella says WOOVRA.
That's cute.
How did it get to be an ooh instead of an eh?
I don't know.
I think there's like a national I there. That's true. Anyway, whatever you call it, we're going to hear about why it's great, and we're going to thank CL New Haven Hospital for providing support for today's program. Welcome back to the studio, Chrissy, Chris, and Lizzie.
It's great to see you.
And
nice
great
to see you.
to have you, Rob. I don't know if you've ever been here, have you?
No, I've not. I've
Okay,
watched
can you raise your mic?
videos online from here. But
Okay.
I've never been here myself.
If you can lift your mic, Rob. I was asking everybody get close to the mic when you talk.
Okay, I was trying to set it up for the guitar.
Okay, we'll do that. Time will come.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd chat a little bit, play
okay.
a little bit, chat a little bit, play a little bit. If you want to play in the background, that's cool too.
Sure.
Sounds
Why
like a
not?
Because
plan.
actually, you noodle like nobody noodles.
He does noodle
You and
like
strong
nobody
persons
noodles.
are really noodle like nobody noodles.
Yeah.
Do you know one time we went on a road trip to some gig, I think, in Pennsylvania, and you brought a little guitar, and you were underscoring the conversation the whole way, and it just became so funny. Like, there, just the concept of you following us around with a little guitar.
I love noodling.
It's great.
Yeah, I've often thought if I could genuinely hire myself out, there are people who are like, would you just follow me around?
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
play,
saying.
and the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
Yes, you really would.
Well, the reason you're all here, besides the fact that we always love having you in the studio, is that a Westville formal, it's not the first year this is happening, it's going to take place on New Year's Eve, the place to be on New Year's Eve, especially if you have nice clothes. And it's taking place 9:30 at Lotta Studio, which is at the corner of Blake Street and Whaley, in the heart of booming Westville Village, which is really booming.
It is. It is.
It's gonna be-
exciting times in Westville.
Could be dancing, could
Definitely.
be an auction. What are you giving away at the auction?
We have a lot of really good stuff. One of our great things that we give away is a family portrait by Misty Hanscom. She does these fantastic.
Oh, I love her work.
Yeah, she does these great.
She did those ones when you had one event where everyone dressed up like in old Western clothes and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she does the photo booth, but this is more like she does individual photo shoots with all the family members, and then they pick a background that's related and they Photoshop it all
So
so
it
that
looks
it's
really surreal.
yeah.
But-
Go ahead, Robert. Yeah.
Well, actually, I realize I'm not sure if I've thought of about a language to describe it. It comes
No,
across
me
as
neither.
really surreal, but really, really engaging.
She's one of the
Yeah.
artists, right, who founded Lotta Studio, which is
Yes.
there at the corner. It's anchored the latest revival in Westville Village, which we're going to talk
absolutely.
about it more. So we're going to have an auction. It's going to be dancing. What kind of
Yep.
music?
Chrissy Gardner music.
That's right. We're going to talk about that today. You got the prompt. And spiked punch and desserts. Don't forget that. You guys always do have good desserts, those things. I went
We
to
do.
one of the improv comedy nights. There were really good desserts all lined up there.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have some regular food from Rawa and a few other places too. Just late notice on the food.
$75 for an individual, couple for $135. You go to westvilleCT.org.
Yes,
So you don't have to know whether it's WIVRA or WIVRA or WOOVRA.
it's true.
You just go to westvilleCT.org. The proceeds benefit WIVRA, WOOVRA, WIVRA, Lovera, which is benefiting the Renaissance. What the dress code is bring it. What does bring it mean?
Bring it means you should be dressed fabulously and ready to dance. But we have a really broad definition of what that might mean.
Give me some specifics. Tuxedos are fabulously.
We had a lot
yeah.
of tuxedos last
Gowns?
year.
We had a fantastic
We had a lot of
tuxedo
gowns.
last-
We had a lot of vintage
We
gowns.
did.
I know Frank Bruckman wore
He
a tuxedo
brought
last.
it.
I mean,
He brought it hard.
he looked like Clark Gable. It was amazing.
And what are the two you
We had
wearing?
some top hats.
All right, top hats
Yeah.
are definitely New Year's Eve attire. What are you two wearing?
What am I going to wear? I got something off of Rent the Runway. How about you, Robert?
Really? What
I
is-
did. Yeah,
what is
I got
it?
a gown. I'm bringing it.
I love it.
New Year's Eve. I almost always do a concert on New Year's Eve. And now that she started this Westville formal thing, it makes it a billion times better. So
How about you, Lizzie?
I ordered something online that I kind of like, but I still have, 7 days, so I'm not committing yet.
Mhm.
But it's pretty fabulous. The thing I got, it's like a peach.
Now, Robert, so you're
Velvet.
going to be wearing a guitar Anything else you're wearing that night?
No, just the guitar.
It covers all the right spots.
Actually, what I was thinking is now that I'm hearing this discussion, what I need is some outrageous bridesmaid's dress with an enormous butt bow.
You
That'll
do.
work. You need the big butt.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't
Didn't you just say
have
that? You need an enormous butt?
enormous butt bow.
Oh, bow. Sorry, enormous bow.
Bow.
Yeah, it didn't look like you need an enormous butt. What kind of bow? Like just
No, in other words,
It's like ears?
It's some horrible bridesmaid's dress. I'm not really going to wear this, by the way. So
I think
because
you
you
should.
almost upped the attendance about double over there.
That's right.
okay, well, I might wear it if people donate enough money. Is that a thing?
Well, that's a good idea.
that's great. We're gonna auction off Robert wearing a bridesmaid's dress.
Okay.
Yes.
Now the music, Chrissy, are you doing performance, dance music, or both?
It's going to be almost all upbeat. Last year we did this crazy like request thing where people had to, in order to raise more money, they requested songs off of a large list, and Robert and I sweat hard trying to fulfill every request. This year, you can leave some nice money in the tip jar for Wilbur, but we're gonna have a nice upbeat set list. Lots of things from some like acoustic soul. So I mean anything from like Elvis Presley to just the two
Some
of us, which
pop
we'll
and
do
Motown.
today.
You guys do,
Pop,
you guys
Motown,
do
yeah.
I Can't Help Falling in Love with You?
We do, sure, yeah. We'll have a couple slow dances in
my
there. David
favorite Elvis
Keith's going to be
Presley.
joining us. He's a great percussionist that I've
So how
worked
many
with
members
for
are going to be in
years.
this band?
It's going to be me and Robert and David Keith, and Tabisa's going to join us. So you met
Tabisa's
for
awesome,
about
yeah.
for a number or two, and Tim Kaine is going to stop in for
With
a
his
little
horn.
bit. All the people in the neighborhood.
That's
You
a nice
know.
little group you got in Westville.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Career's
We're
taking
just
off.
going to keep it upbeat and,
is
dancing all night.
is there also going to be recorded music for dancing or just the live music?
We will probably play a little music before Chrissy gets started and maybe a little bit after. So last
Little
year we had a DJ, and I think
kind of
I
thing
think we'll probably have a DJ this
Okay,
year.
we're talking about the Westville Formal. We're talking about New Year's Eve. And New Year's Eve is happening in only one place this year. And that's going to be the heart of Westville at Lotta Studio, where the Westville Formal is taking place. It's going to raise money for Wuvra, the Westville Village
Paul,
Tennis
I think you
Association.
just came up with the plot for a science fiction show
Yeah.
where New Year's Eve only takes place in this location.
I know, and in that one studio, and because they have all the art around, so different kind of subplots are going to take in the wings
nice.
behind the artwork and eyes popping out from the holes in the pictures. It's going to determine the fate of climate change and political redemption in 2019. But
So
until
there
you
it
get
is,
there's gonna
people.
good
Be
music.
there.
So and we're talking about that with Chrissy Gardner, Lizzie Donies, and Robert Masori. And Chrissy and Robert, would you give us a taste, a flavor of what you're going to be playing that night, a song that that you might be performing? So we can hear you
Absolutely.
guys.
What are we doing?
Let's start with Santa.
Alrighty.
It's important to remind everybody that Santa Claus is coming to town.
Hey, Robert.
Chrissy Gardner, Robert Masori, giving us a sneak
And we'll have.
peek preview once the mic is plugged in
That's right. We'll have keys there
for
to
the
that night too.
Westville
and-
Formal.
I will say, Chrissy puts on the best New Year's Eve shows. Even before we were doing
Aw.
this, all my best New Year's Eves were Chrissy Gardner concerts.
Did you do
Oh,
one-
were you there for the one where I changed time?
Yes, that was the best.
How'd you
People
change
got
time?
real mad at me. 'Cause I'm a little bit known for being a little behind time, and I had gotten to a point that was, we're getting close to midnight, and we weren't at the point in the show that I wanted to be at for midnight, so I had this big analog clock on the front of the stage, and I was like, I'll just move it back a little bit, and I could feel the audience going like, oh no, you're not going to move it. In my mind, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is all, you guys know that this time thing is just an agreed upon thing, right? We can just decide
It is a
that
false
it's
construct. We have
it's
a
not-
mutually agreed upon metrics, but that doesn't mean they comport to reality.
They don't like.
There's not
they-
a gold
the people
standard
don't
for
like
time.
changing. No, there's not. There used to be.
Not like we
in the
control the
1800s.
cosmos.
No, it was.
Well,
There was.
First of all, I want to see if we're getting signal back on this. Okay. Second of all, I just want to congratulate you because although I'm used to coming from Nerdville, this is the first time I've ever done a radio interview where the interviewer used the word comport. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. And the reason I had your mic down is I didn't want the guitar to overwhelm the voice.
Oh, okay.
So I've been turning it up when you talk and down on the guitar.
Sorry.
No problem. All right. Chrissy and
Yeah.
Robert, what are you going to play?
Little Santa Claus is coming to town to start here.
And we know where he's coming, right? A lot of studio, starting at 9:30 New Year's Eve.
Absolutely. That's when he's coming.
Because
New Year's
everyone's
Eve?
going to be there.
That's right.
It is.
Ooh,
Give me a moment.
you can start the intro. Go ahead. Yep. You better watch out. Better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you right. Well, Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and he's checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Well, Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake. Oh, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Well, you better watch out. You better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Well, Santa Claus is coming to town. With little tin horns and little toy drums, Rudy Toot Toots and Rummy Tum Tums. Well, Santa Claus is coming to town. And curly hat dolls, they tootle and coo. Elephant boats and kitty cars too. Oh, Santa Claus is coming to town. And the kids in girl and boy land, they're gonna have a jubilee. They're gonna build a toyland all around Lotta Studios Christmas tree on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. You better watch out. You better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Oh, Santa Claus is coming to town. Better watch out. Better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Yeah, he's making a list and he's checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. Yeah, he sees you when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so you be good for goodness sake. My baby, you better watch out. Better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Oh, Santa Claus is coming. Oh, Santa Claus is coming. Santa Claus is coming to town.
All right. Whoa. Chrissy Gardner, Rob Masori, Santa Claus, who will probably be done with all the present returns by December 31st.
That's right.
And he, like the rest of the cosmos, will be gathered at Lotta Studio in the corner of
Like the
Blakesy
rest
Rally
of the cosmos.
for the New
I
Year's
like it.
Eve Westville Formal, which we're talking about here on Dateline New Haven, WNHH-FM, 103.5, livestream.org. Ian Alderman checks in. Go Chrissy, Robert, and Lizzie. Nice to hear from Ian. Thanks for checking in. And they're talking about that, about the Westville Formal to benefit Woovra. Chrissy, I was hearing a Ricky Lee Jones vibe switching to Ella Fitzgerald and back. Is that fair?
Oh, yeah, that's
that
great.
you listened to?
Sounds good to me. I was obsessed with Ella Fitzgerald when I was a kid. Oh, my God.
When the beat picked
Listen.
up, when you did that kind of thing, I thought you should. Before that, I said, you weren't a Ricky Lee Jones fan? Or?
No, maybe I should be, though.
No, I don't know.
Should
And
be.
Rob,
I should
you
be.
were playing G major 7 for that song?
Me?
Wasn't that what you were playing?
Well, a lot of the time I was defaulting to G6 as the one
Oh, okay.
chord. If you play, for those of you who play, if you're doing swing, a lot of times the one chord. In this case, we're in G, so G
Right.
is 1. So
And
we
then
play
the bridge goes into C, and you're playing that in C major 7, no?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just nice to see
But-
how you do that, interpret that, yeah. And Robert Wilson says, very nice, Chrissy and Robert, too. So one of the reasons you do it, first of all, I want to ask you, Chrissy, what is your most memorable New Year's Eve? You said you like to play every New Year's Eve. What's the New Year's Eve you'll
Honestly,
never forget?
it was really that New Year's Eve that I changed time.
Well, you changed time.
Because
But you didn't do it.
they got
You
mad.
threatened to.
No, I didn't. But then here's what happened: they got mad at me. They turned on me, and then they made me celebrate it at midnight. But then my clock, I had already turned back. So then when it turned that time, somebody from the back was like, "It's your New Year's Eve." So we did the whole damn thing all over again. Oh, I can't.
That's okay,
Sorry.
you can.
The
No,
whole
you're allowed
thing
to say
all over
damn.
again.
Allowed
Oh,
to say
okay.
damn,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
There's
We
certain
did the
words
whole
you
thing
can't
all
say
over again. It
because
was
it
so
was-
much fun. So we did double. It was great.
And Lou Mancini
was a great
says,
year.
will there
It
be
was
Miller High Life bottles?
Oh yeah, I gave Lou. Oh, was that a New Year's Eve, Lou? I gave you a Miller High Life on stage and serenaded you. It might have been a New Year's.
That sounds fun.
There
We
were
might
so
be
many at
able to
Lyric Hall.
arrange
Well, what's
that.
the answer? Will there be Miller High Life bottles?
If Lou comes, I will make sure there's Miller High Life for him.
Really?
Sure.
That's a promise.
That's a promise.
And please get close to my. Thank you.
That's a promise.
Any other
Dominion.
New Year's Eve memories, Robert or Lizzie? The New Year's Eve you'll never forget.
Not that I could disclose on radio.
Okay. Lizzie?
I met my husband on New Year's Eve.
Well, no,
so
that counts.
I have
Oh,
the best
boy,
answer
that's
for
big.
that.
That
Yeah.
is
huge.
big.
Yeah.
Now, where were you when and how did it happen?
I was at a house party in Boston, and Kenny and I both lived in Brooklyn at the time, only like 3 blocks apart. And I was
Really?
visiting my friend, who was a boy, who I'd had a little dating with, and his sister, who Kenny had kind of a little bit dated. Kenny was visiting, and we met at their house, and we were staying there for the weekend.
Was it love first sight?
It was.
Did you kiss at midnight?
We did not kiss at midnight. But we did
Oh.
go ice skating the next day with like the whole
Oh.
party of people, and nobody wanted to go ice skating, but Kenny asked me to go ice skating, and so I said yes because I really liked him. And then the rest of them had to stand around while we ice skated.
Ooh. And was it clear to everyone this was the scene in the movie where love
Yes.
got cemented on the ice?
Yes. Yes. Although we
And-
had mutual friends there, and I said to them, these 2 guys that were my roommates in Brooklyn, I was like, how long have you known this guy? Did it never occur to you that we might be a good fit? And they were like, in a million years, I never would have set you up with
Wow.
Ken. We've been together for 18 years now.
Do you
so
think that's a
it's
wonderful
that day.
story? And one question is,
Oh,
do you think there's
sweet.
something about New Year's Eve that is very different from other nights? People feel something fateful. Do they
Maybe.
kind of feel
I
like,
think
okay,
it's
we made it
magical.
through the year,
Yeah.
and we're kind of wondering what's going to happen next, and it's late at night when it's happening, and there's this arbitrary connection to that midnight when something's going to be different when the clock goes. It's too late for the past, but there are all sorts of new opportunities for the future. You're kind of emotionally in a different place. Partly you might be drunk, but partly that you feel you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Whether you're
Yeah.
in Times Square, I remember going when you're in Times Square, or whether the Guy Lombardo thing, whether it's supposed to be festive. Do you think you're just in a different place where it's more likely, like Lizzie, you'd fall in love, or
I think that's
or
totally
that Lou
possible.
Mangini will come on stage, you give him a high life, and you'll serenade him? I mean, that doesn't happen any night.
I definitely think that that's true. I think especially since so many people are thinking the same kinds of things at the same time, there's a lot of energy in that. I love the transition
We're all thinking
of
about
it.
self-loathing and regret. No, okay, that's
See, I have
That's just
no.
me.
New Year's Eve is not special to me. Partly because Rosh Hashanah is my New Year's Eve.
okay. Yeah.
And
Well, yeah,
partly
yeah.
because I don't usually join in when I feel like the whole world's having a party. I don't know why.
Right. No, I get that.
I do have a
Luckily, most people feel differently, and they'll come to the Westville Formal.
I
Yes.
do have a convention of kissing my beloved at midnight, and I'll do that right here, right now.
For the record, for those who are just listening, not watching, Robert was kicking his guitar. What about that, Robert? How long you've been performing guitar? I can think back at least 25 years you've been performing. I mean, I was trying to think of the events you put on for guitarists.
About that, I moved here in '95, so 23 years.
Were you already a guitarist? I think you grew up playing guitar.
Yeah. I've been playing since I was a wee little kid, rather than just a wee little man.
And you're a fantastic guitarist.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. And yeah, I always really was compelled to play and perform, but I didn't really want it to be my job. By the time I was 12, I already felt like I had figured out that the music business is terrible.
Yeah, right.
We're
Which it
reading books
is.
about like exploited artists and life on the road and
There
heroin.
was that, and then just seeing some of the rock and rollers in my hometown, and
Where was the
feeling
hometown?
like I grew up in Clinton, Connecticut. I don't even say it like the locals anymore.
There were rock and rollers in Clinton,
Nah,
Connecticut.
not, you know what I mean. The people who played in bands and whatnot who were adults and I was a kid.
But
I
they were,
felt like-
but you were the kid, and you were the adult, and they were the kids in your mind by 12 years old.
Nah. I just felt like, there was a certain. They were good to me. A lot of those people were very nice to me, but there was a certain lifestyle thing I didn't really relate to. Maybe I was just too uptight, and but then yeah, life happened. I don't want to do the whole story, but I had to rearrange. After I moved here, I had just finished a degree in cognitive science and thought I was going to get a PhD and be a professor or something, and then
And what changed? Why didn't you?
excuse me.
And why did you make that pivot?
Well, I was trying not to start the whole story. Anyway, the short version is my grandmother on my father's side, her health went downhill. I was the only one in the family who didn't have a family or a settled career or anything, so it was easy for me to rearrange my life a bit to be with her during the day.
Big thing to do in your early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also thought it was only going to be for a few months, and it ended up being 8.5 years.
Whoa!
Wow.
And in my head, I'd committed to be with her until she died. And so while I was with her, I had the choice of either getting a regular job at night and on the weekends, or taking this music thing that I wanted to do seriously, but I just didn't want it to be my career. And I decided, well, okay, I'll throw myself at it, and then began many years of poverty.
That's right.
Is this your main job?
Yeah. Well,
Is it mostly backing other people like Chrissy? I know you do
I
some
love
performances.
doing that.
You have like your the events you do at the church there in Humphrey Street with showcasing local guitarists.
well, that's one. Yeah, well, it's
That's more labor of love, I'm assuming.
Yes, that's definitely not
You
a
guys
way to
could-
make
yeah.
money, but it's I love working with different people. I'm really lucky I get to work with Chrissy just because of who she is, let alone what I like about what she does musically. And
That's sweet.
you know, I play in a contra dance band, and I do music with young children. There's a lot of people who only know me from the kids' music these days. Originally, Misty used to come bring her kids to my, who we mentioned before about her art. And I keep a handful
That's
of
where
students.
we met too.
What's
Me
that?
too.
Ironically, yeah, we met at one of your
Oh, right, yeah, we
Toddler
met
tunes,
through
yeah.
Toddler Tunes.
What were you
yeah.
doing at
Mhm.
Toddler Tunes, Chrissy?
with my daughter. She's 11 now, but when she was a toddler,
Yeah.
brought her to Toddler Tunes.
she
of course. She sings a little bit. She's got a lovely little voice, but she's into other things.
Does she like coming to hear her mom sing?
I think so. Seems like it.
Like, is she going to be at the Westville Formal?
No, she's not. She's
Past her bedtime.
yeah.
And plus, you know, Jess and Mark wrote in about New Year's Eve. Rebirth happens on New Year's. The self-loathing happens in the morning.
Right.
I'm going to leave that as its own comment. Thank you, Jessica,
right.
and commenting. And we're talking about New Year's Eve, where there's really only one way to mark New Year's Eve this year, and that's to show up at the Westville Formal starting at 9:30 to raise money for a great cause, which is the Westville Village Renaissance Association, which I live in Westville. I've just seen the amazing work it's done, pulling us together as a community at a hot time and just reviving, doing like nuts and bolts work about how you get storefronts look good, what kind of businesses is, and how to deal with people who are going to build your neighborhood, and they change the whole zoning and everything. And that's going to start at 9:30. A lot of studio corner of Whaley and Blake, and to hear music like the song we're now going to hear from Chrissy Gardner and Robert Missouri. And what song is that going to be?
We'll do a cover by Bill Withers. This is just the two of us. And so if you've come to my New Year's concerts before, a lot of it's original music. And for this night, we're just going to do a lot of songs you know. We'll do a couple originals here
Can't
and
go
there.
wrong with Bill Withers.
No, you really can't.
That is love for you.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you, sometimes I wanna spend some time with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, baby. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles way up high. Just the two of us. You and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. Oh, we can make it if we try now. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. crystal raindrops fall on the window down the hall, and it becomes the morning tune. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I wanna be the one with you. Just the two of us. Oh, we can make it if we try now. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. We'll be building castles in the sky, baby. Just the two of us. You and I. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. We'll be building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I.
All right, that was beautiful. Bill Withers.
Thanks.
As
If you're
performed.
watching, seeing me try to sing in a chair.
No, you're doing a great job. I think you have a great voice, Chrissy Gardner.
Thank you so
That's
much.
and
That's
what
really
great
so good.
You're playing by Rob Masori, and you're hearing that. And that's a taste of what you will hear at the only place to be New Year's Eve this year to say goodbye to 2018, which is the Westville Formal. It's now becoming an annual event this year at Lotta Studio, corner of Whaley and Blake, starting at 9:30 to benefit Woovra.
Yes,
But
and we
Westville's-
promise a magic night for everybody.
But Paul, who would want to say goodbye to 2018? It's
That's
been
true.
the best year ever. Everybody's like, "Oh, but it died."
You know,
Well,
Not
one good thing that
everybody,
happened in 2018 is that Westville, the center, became even more of a place. It's been a trend for years now, where you would go on New Year's Eve or on a weekend night or for lunch or dinner. You know, back I'm thinking 80s. You know, you might go to certain people would go to 500 Blake Street, which no longer exists, around the corner on Blake. But otherwise, that's not what Westville was. And then as a lot of younger families started moving in and investing in the neighborhood and bringing up families there in the early 2000s, it gradually became this amazing neighborhood and so much going on. And then Wiver got created. And Lizzie, I believe, is the second person running it.
Yep.
And it was such a desire to make it a more fun and colorful place, where it's lyric hall concerts or the coffee shop on West Rock or the restaurants that have started, the lunch places, the brunch places, and a lot of stores. And even just recently, and, you know, a lot of work was done with the state, fix the roads, to beautify, traffic calming. You have the new banners up this year in 2018. So it's actually been a good year for Wivra.
It has.
Tell me about, weren't there like 5 new stores that just opened in
Yeah.
Westville? What are they?
Yeah, we had a really good 2018 locally. So for sure. So the new
And
stores,
I think it's separated in a different dimension from the domain of Donald Trump, right?
Yes.
Like Westville does not exist in
yes,
that.
we're just
Untouched.
we're in like an alternate universe.
It feels like that.
And yeah, it's a nice escape. So the newest stores we have Polished Beauty Bar, which is a hair and nail salon that opened in the old Hair Power salon next to Soho and Planet Realty. We have the Mew Haven Cat Cafe, which was
Which
a
I still
long
don't get the
time going.
concept, but people love it. The first of its kind. I'm still trying to get the
I
cat and
think-
coffee thing.
I think if you are a cat person, I have friends who are cat people who live in Bethel, and I wandered in there like on a Saturday morning to put postcards in for tree lighting or something, and there were my friends from Bethel. Like, I think if you were a cat person, you've been waiting for this for years. So I was worried. I was worried about them. We do worry about whether people have
You can
decent
adopt the
business
cats,
models.
right?
You can adopt the cat.
Well, the fact is people are crazy about this place, so
They love
that's
it,
the point.
and it's crowded, and everyone's having a wonderful time. And I think
then
you
you
have
got
to be a
Strange
cat lover.
Ways is an interesting business.
Strange Ways is the best. That place is great, and Alex, who runs
And that's
it,
a place
Alex
about the
coolest.
store you go to get kind of creative, artistic knickknacks and stuff.
Yeah, you get like they do a lot of Alex calls it flair, so it's like patches and buttons, and like my 12-year-old daughter's obsessed with a lot of the things there.
And they do also a big, and it's sort of the way independent bookstores have done, which is they do a lot of web business. And
They
they're
do.
from Brooklyn. They decided to open in Westville Village. It's sort of
Yes.
the right place to do that hybrid business.
Yes, and the Cat Cafe as well are not local. They were looking for the right place to open in Connecticut, and they chose
I feel very
Westville.
lucky to live up the hill from the village and in the Westville neighborhood, great
Fun.
walking
Me too.
neighborhood. And then do you have talk about that's new school, but you have old school
We
right
have
at the
old-
beginning of Fountain. There you got the new vinyl record shop.
We do Elm City Sounds, which is
Yeah.
wonderful. Chris at Elm City Sounds knows everything about music and records and
And people
has
are buying
everything.
vinyl, huh?
People are buying people are coming and buying vinyl, and he also had I believe like a pretty strong online business going and was looking to maybe have a storefront and thinking
Oh.
about it. And I think part
That's
of,
so interesting that,
yeah.
in this era where we just make assumptions like this is going to kill independent retail, a lot of these independent businesses are coming, even doing
They're
some
crafty.
old school commerce like books and vinyl records, but combining them with
That's
web sales as well. But it
I-
seems like people want a place. People live in
people want a
Westville, want a
place.
place.
Yeah, and they wanna come together and have human interactions with other people with their interests. At Strange Ways for years, Alex, I think, would do these Flair Fair events at Lyric Hall. He'll have like an event where all the vendors who create stuff that are sold in the store will come and do like a craft fair. And people come from all over the whole New England region to meet the people who are making the stuff that they like. So it's like a whole online
And part of your
culture.
job, Lizzie, is you're staying on top of efforts because stores do close and reopen.
Yeah.
You find new spaces. What is happening with the Delaney's project? You got approval for this big Central and Whaley block
Yeah.
crossroads to rebuild the old restaurant and have apartments built on it. I think that got approved. What happened with it?
It did get approved. So Lior Israel, who bought the property, developed a building. We were working with him. The neighborhood was working with him to make it like a little more attractive. And then he's been working with the city on all of the permissions. And I think everything is set to go. It's just not really good building time in terms of weather. That's
Really?
my understanding.
But he
Yeah.
is ready to build.
I think
And the other
he is.
one that we haven't figured out why it hasn't happened is the old
the
Key
bank.
Bank building where the people who
Oh, yeah.
do what's
Shell and
that?
Bone.
Shell and
Gel
Bones.
and Bones.
What's up with them?
So I've spoken to them very recently. They gave us a couple of things to auction off on New Year's Eve,
Okay.
and they also are planning to get started. In
Do you know
the
why they
spring.
haven't for so long?
They had, I think they had some, just more personal issues that made it not the right time. After they bought the building, it
And
just
that's
was a
business.
kind of a rough year, and I mean, not a rough year for them business wise, but just not the right time for them to.
Then Lyric Hall, which has been a great success, which is
Yeah.
the antique place in the front. It's a real community center.
It is.
And that great vaudeville space. I'm sure you have performed them 30,000 times, Chris. A
Few
great
times.
vaudeville space in the back theater has been restored. That's for sale. What do you
Yes.
think is going to happen there?
I am very, very hopeful that we will get a wonderful buyer at Lyric Hall. I think it's such a special anchor institution in Westville, and
It's been
we
lovely to restore it, too.
Yes, by John Cavalier.
You get parties in front. I've been to parties and events in
Yeah.
front. And then you have concerts, but also community events in that vaudeville stage.
Yeah.
I have a theory what would be good there.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear
Okay.
it.
The one thing we're missing down in Westville is an independent bookstore.
Yes.
They are succeeding all over the country now. They have
Yes.
to be combined with online. One thing I think makes an independent bookstore is events.
Yeah.
So partly you could have author events in that great front space,
I
but
love
you
it.
could also have musical events in the back where there's the vaudeville theater, and a person could even link up with someone like the really successful outfit that's doing the College Street Music Hall and
Right.
the space in Hamden, and now they're going to do District Ballroom. They have Mark Nussbaum and Keith Mahler. They have this whole network of people come through. I know like Betty Sue and others came through Lyric Hall for the smaller. You could even do a partnership with a bookstore and a music promotion agency for that space.
I love that idea. A lot of these ideas, that
You
hybrid
have ideas.
idea, I love that.
That's
I have a lot of
business,
ideas.
though. It's business, and with ideas, as you know from your job, the market has to work. Someone has to have the capital, and
market
they have
has-
to be able to make money,
that's-
and a lender has to believe it can make money.
That's right. All of those things have to happen. But I do feel like, so I do want to shout out John Cavalier just because he did such an amazing job
did.
creating Lyrical, and we all adore John, and I think this is the right decision for him.
He created value there, and he's not like a guy who wakes up wondering, how am I going to make money? He's a guy who wakes up thinking about how do I make a great space and do historical reconstruction and that kind of stuff.
And so
now
I think
can turn it over and make a buck.
I think it captures a lot of people's imagination. So I think it's a question of finding, the right, either the combination of people who would come together and maybe create a space like that, or the right buyer. Those guys from the College Street Music Hall, there's real estate agents involved. I believe it's H. Pierce, if anyone's interested in Lyrical.
Well, I know one person who's an author in Hartford, West, who's spoken for years about starting a bookstore. I wonder if he might be interested.
I have heard that.
Maybe get him together with those other guys.
That's
See
a
if
good
they
idea.
can do
There are a
something.
couple things.
That's really
The
really
one thing's going to be
Put that on my
parking.
to-do list.
People are going to want to park. Now, if you go on the
Parking.
other edge, like where a lot of studios, you have these two big parking lots right across the street. And I know that walking an extra block's not a big a deal. It's just kind of psychic. You really can't park in front of Lyric Hall. That's where all that traffic converges.
It is really difficult. I mean, I think parking in Westville, as we grow, will become a real issue. Right now, it's more of an imaginary issue, I think, because it's never actually hard to park in Westville. You cannot park right in front of Lyric Hall.
You got Trips
garage
right next to Lyric
Yep.
Hall. What if at night they paid him
Ding ding.
for use of their parking lot?
I will.
You'd have to clear out some trucks and some
That's right.
clunkers, but that
We
could
got to
be
get
some
the
money
clunkers.
for them.
We got to get the clunkers cleared out, and someone could pay Rich. And I know that Rich and John have been good friends.
And a great second family
so-
Westville business, the Peppies. It's been
Yep.
since the
Yep.
80s. Yeah, much
Yep.
before that. Yeah.
And so Rich has historically let people park there for Lyrical, but we do need to get some of the other cars cleared out. So that is a potential solution for sure.
So much great stuff happening in Westville in 2018. So much great stuff I know is going to happen in 2019. You just gave us a few hints starting in the spring.
Yep.
And one of the great ways that we're going to end 2018 and start 2019 is with the Westville Formal, what's becoming an annual must-go-to event, must attend. And what's good, perhaps the greatest part is going to be Chrissy Gardner singing and Rob Masori playing the guitar.
Definitely.
They've been
Thanks for catching on to that.
9:30 is when it starts, folks. You can buy tickets at westvillecT.org. And you're going to be supporting a great cause, which is WUVRA. Which I've learned to pronounce.
I am, just so that I don't play any favorites. I did want to mention the Whimsies and Wishes store that opened in the Subway.
Oh, that's a cool
the
place.
Old Subway is super
There's a lot
cool.
of love put into that place.
Oh, it's
I
wonderful.
love it in there.
She's
and
Lori
boy, talk about
wonderful.
stepping up from the Subway, yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
John's
I was
cousin,
really worried.
right?
She's John's cousin, and she is a collector of beautiful things, and so that the inventory changes all the time, and she has wonderful stuff. And then Melissa Gonzalez, who many people know from Vinthantro Modern, and she had the Vinthantro bus, and I mean, I've been a fan for a long time. She also just opened a store like super fast in Westville that's wonderful and full of gorgeous things.
All right.
And things to wear for New Year's Eve.
So no
Love
one
vintage thing.
is going to be mad at you for forgetting them.
Nope.
We're all grateful to you, the great work you've done.
think I'm good.
And you're going to do more great work with the help of people going to have a great time on New Year's Eve at the Westville Formal, starting at 9:30. Thanks so much for joining us today, Chrissy, Lizzie,
Pleasure.
and Robert.
Thank you.
And we're going to take it out with hearing one more song from you folks.
Oh, sure. Or I also sent you something you could play if you want. That's more.
I'd rather hear it live.
You want to hear it
That's
live?
okay.
Great. Okay. Done.
Okay. I didn't clear this with you beforehand, Paul, but I just keep feeling I miss doing radio. When I was in college, I did radio.
You're always welcome to come do radio here.
I keep wanting to say, you're listening to WNHH 103.5 FM, New Haven's independent radio.
Not
All right.
bad. You're hired. All right.
Let's do the thing.
Happy New Year's Eve, everybody.
Thanks for having us. This
Thanks
is
for
always
having
fun.
us.
We
Paul.
have had a good 2018 in New Haven, despite what's happening in the rest of the world. We're going to have a great 2019. And now you're going to hear partly why from Chrissy Gardner, Robert Masori.
And while he plays this intro, I just want to say that Robert and I play at a piano lounge every Friday night. I play the piano and sing at Craven Ansonia. Actually, this week it's Saturday. And Robert joins me the last Friday of every month. So, but you're going to see him on New Year's Eve. This is an original. It's called Where She Goes. It's off of my first album, Alabaster Room. Smoke surrounds her locks of blackness, brooding in a stool the time she passes endlessly. Why then am I next to her, turned away, committed? committed to my glass. Will shivers pass, and where she goes, can't take my eyes away, and where she goes, I am a slave at her gate, and where she goes, I am breaking just to be in her world, just to live in her sway. But I know it is here I must stay. Move to where the corners greet me, shield my eyes, she's dancing to defeat me. No, she sees me broken and undone, so why this taunting as I bleed, and where she goes, can't take my eyes away, and where she goes, I am a slave at her gate, and where she goes, I am breaking just to be in her world, just to live in her sway. But I know it is here I must stay. And if I turn my head, it's over. And if I turn my head, I am undone. And if I turn my head, it's all. Like a fool in stories old, I'll stay with her, though she may not know where she goes. Can't take my eyes away, and where she goes, I am a slave at her gate, and where she goes, I am breaking just to be in her world, just to live in her sway. But I know it is here I must stay.